Hello, everybody. Jim Powers back with you on NCAA.com as we continue to roll through our pre-Elite Eight press conferences, and they are the number one seed. They're the team that has just had an unbelievable year. It's West Texas A&M, and we're joined by their head coach Tom Brown. And Coach, great seeing you again. Congratulations, and what a great season for you guys, despite everything else in the world that's been going on.
Jim, it's been crazy. I'm sure every coach is saying that, and it's been such a adventure. We'll say adventure this year, as we've had a lot of games canceled, and we actually had to cancel a game because of COVID. And we've had guys get it during the season, before the season, and you just hope that nobody gets it this time of the year. But it should be fun. I think it's a really, really good field this year of 8 teams that could have been number 1 through 8. I think anybody could have been the 1 this year. It was that good of a field.
We'll talk a little bit about the field here in a little bit, but I think one of the biggest things that I'm talking to the student athletes about, and I'm also getting the coach's opinion about this, and we're going to ask, your outstanding player, Janelle Fugette here, the same question. Has it seemed like your guys kind of re-found their love for the game of basketball when everything was canceled last year, and they kind of had to go old school with all the gyms closed and workout facilities closed, where it was the driveway, it was the playground, it was the old rickety, rusted out rims with the chain link nets. I mean, the one thing everybody's been telling me is they kind of reaffirmed their love for the game of basketball. Did you see that out of your guys when you got them back in the fall?
Maybe a little bit, and you're right. We had some players that wanted to go outside and just shoot even, and they actually put the club, or they shut those outdoor hoops down even. It's amazing what happened, but I don't think our guys ever lost that love. I really do. I don't think they lost. I think maybe it was just on hold for a little bit, but I think our guys are playing really well together. I think they have a passion for the game. I think they've always had that passion for the game, and I think that's what makes us a very good team. But I don't think they've ever lost it. And if they did, they got it back in a hurry.
No doubt about it. Well, let's bring in this outstanding student athlete that's helped lead you guys throughout the season. Janelle Fugette, a junior, probably one of the best lockdown defensive guys I think I've seen on tape, this year. And first off, congratulations. What an outstanding season for you guys. And I'm sure you heard the question I just asked Coach. When everything got shut down last spring, I'm sure a lot of teams were either finishing up regionals or actually getting ready to go to Evansville for the Elite Eight. What were you able to do over the summer? And did you kind of reaffirm that love for the game of basketball that you knew you had, but it kind of gave you a chance to go back old school into the roots of basketball?
It was definitely a test of whether or not you love the game of basketball. And like Coach said, I don't think anybody on this team didn't love it. I feel like I did have to go old school with it. Like I actually went back to my elementary school and shot on the outside hoop. And once I got kicked out of there because of COVID, I went to my middle school and stuff like that. So it was just really like trying to find a space where they were allowing me to hoop at. And after that, came back here and everybody had the same energy. So I don't really think anybody lost the love.
The Lone Star Conference, one of the, a terrific conference. You guys able to make your way through, and the regional, what a great regional you guys came through to get to the Elite Eight. Talk about just the season, that conference schedule, which is just, a dogfight every night. And then obviously the regional, which the one thing I said to a lot of the guys I've talked to is if you watched any of the regional championships, it was big boy basketball. I mean, it wasn't an easy out for anybody across the board.
Yeah. I think our conference was it was kind of confusing in that like a lot of teams had COVID, so they didn't play, like they didn't have their starting 5 every night. That wasn't the case for us, but I'm just saying like it was you didn't really have like a bona fide like scout on every team because of COVID and how weird the year was and everything like that. So I feel like every game we had to come out and we had to play with intensity, like the underdog and everything like that. But yeah, especially in the conference tournament and the regional, it was like very, very competitive, very competitive.
Your backcourt, How about you guys? 58 points a game you guys are averaging. And I know, you've got some guys that are up front with you that just do an unbelievable job sharing the ball, shooting the rock, doing different things. Talk about how cool it is to play with those guys.
It's very relaxing being in the game where you don't have to bring the ball up. There's multiple people who can bring the ball up, and we swing the ball around, we share it, we play fast. We're probably the 3 fastest in the conference region, probably in the nation. So I think that's very relaxing, very calming.
How cool is it that you get to play with your brother?
That's very cool. I grew up playing with him. I stopped playing with him after high school, after he left for college. And for us to reunite like that was pretty cool.
All right, here's the question. Who's better in NBA or any of those other games on PlayStation? Who's better, you or your brother? And then who's better on the team when it comes to those types of games?
I'm gonna start with my brother. When it comes to Call of Duty, he's got me for sure. But when it comes to 2K, anything basketball, I got it for sure. On the team too, I got it. I think Call of Duty for the team wise, it's out of Quay, Kavon, and I don't know. I think Calvin might be in there too. But when it comes to basketball, any basketball games, I got it. Off rip.
Well, and it seems that's what everybody, because, obviously long road trips, different things along those lines. Somebody's got to have the PlayStation packed in one of their bags so you guys can do something in the hotel, because you're not allowed to really do anything. And that's going to be the case this week when you all get down to Evansville on Monday.
Yeah, it's definitely the bubble feel is a little different. So we're definitely gonna have one of somebody bring a station down. They're gonna have to lose in 2K a little bit, but it'll be cool.
But you know what? You'll take the bubble and competing for a national championship with the #1 seed hanging right next to your name, correct?
Of course, any day.
Hey, Janelle, thanks so much for the time. We're going to switch it over and talk to Coach for a little bit, but good luck. I can't wait to see you all play via the internet this week, but good luck and have a lot of fun down there.
Thank you.
We're going to slide the computer back over to head coach Tom Brown. And, Tom, I'm going to ask you the question. Your guards, I'm telling you right now, a lot of teams, they build around their bigs and different things along those lines. I love how you've built this offense around your guards and how they are able to distribute, handle the rock, and do a lot of different things.
Well, we've got some pretty good guys inside too. It's just the guards sometimes don't pass them the ball, so they get the shots up a little faster. So that's maybe why they're scoring more points than some of our bigger kids inside. But no, we've got some guys that can play a little bit. It's when we play together, we're really good, just like any team. And I think that's something that we've been doing a pretty good job of lately, is really sharing the basketball and playing together and working off each other's strengths. And I think that's credit to our players understanding their roles and what makes us good as a team.
I asked Janelle this, I'm going to ask you this, the Lone Star this year. I mean, obviously everybody playing under a lot of different scenarios and along those lines, but still there's some great basketball in the Lone Star, and your conference, the regional that you guys had to traverse through was just terrific. Talk a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, it was a little scary this year just because, if you would have lost a player here or there, and we were actually going down to Kingsville and we had a starter out, and then all of a sudden Kingsville got COVID, or excuse me, not Kingsville, International got COVID. So we didn't play those games, but we could have went down there. And even though they didn't have a great record this year, they could have beat us. Mm-hmm. I thought they were a solid team. Our 8 team in our conference tournament, St. Edwards, goes on the road and beats Lubbock Christian, who's the #1 and a top 10 team. And that's our 8 in our conference. And I think that just shows the depth of our conference. And if we would have lost a few games, we might not have made the regional. And I feel really bad for Texas A&M Kingsville, who I believe had 2 losses on the year, maybe 3, but they didn't make the regional. And it was a different year because you only had 48 teams make it. If it was 64, they definitely would have got in. But I think they got the short end of the stick. And I think they were better than maybe some other teams that got in. I'm not saying those other teams weren't good from the GAC, but Kingsville, I'm glad I didn't have to play Kingsville in the opening round. We had to play Dallas Baptist, who was a top 20 team in the opening round as the #1 seed. And we're playing a top 20 team in the nation. So this conference was very, very tough. We had some very, very good team. And like I said, St. Ed's is the number 8. They were very scary. We had them in the conference tournament. We knocked them out of getting into the regional. Otherwise, they would have got back in, and we might have had to play them first round. So it was a very good conference. I know everybody thinks their conference is the best around the country, but the Lone Star was very tough this year with the top 8 teams. And, even teams like Oklahoma Christian, Arkansas, Fort Smith, those guys can all play. And if you're not ready, you're going to get beat. But that's pretty much the case around the country too. If you go on the road in conference play and you're not ready to play, you're probably going to get beat unless you're, Northwest Missouri State or Lincoln Memorial or somebody like that can kind of just walk into a gym and win games. But you've got to be ready every given night.
Well, and I tell you what, and I'm sure you've seen some of the regional championships from earlier this week. And like I said, that was just some unbelievable talent. And, I work at a Division II institution, as you're well aware, and I see it day in and day out. But when you see those championship games on the regional level that we saw on Monday and Tuesday nights, my gosh, just the talent in D2 is just unbelievable.
Yeah, you feel bad, and you feel bad that some of the teams don't make it. And, they're a top 8 quality team, but it happens. You're watching some of the Division I NCAA tournament right now, and, Ohio State just gets bounced. Well, you're done. You don't play well, you're going to lose. And it happens every year. We're the 1 seed. If we don't play well against Damon, we're done. Or if Damon really plays well and we play good, we're probably done. You got to rise up, and you got to be at the top of your game. You got to be lucky a little bit. You got to have the ball bounce your way. But, you've got to make some plays in order to win in advance here.
This is your 3rd straight Elite 8, and you've been around the block. You know what it's all about. Is this, and that's not an age crack, Coach. Come on now. No.
Okay, all right.
Hey, I had to go get the Grays taken care of this morning on my end. So,
okay.
Yep. But no, this field, this Elite 8 field, and you've been a part of a couple really, really solid Elite 8 groups.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think this may be one of the deepest Elite 8s that we've seen in the last couple of years?
I haven't watched everybody yet, Jim, but I did. Northwest I know very well. Obviously, they are very, very good, and I watched a little bit of that Northern game to see how Northern let them win. And I mean, I felt bad for Northern. You got the home court advantage, but that shows you how much of a champion Northwest is. I mean, to be down by 10, they got some breaks by Northern missing some free throws, and Hudgen makes some big, big plays. But you better close out a game when you can against those guys, because you give them any chance, they're going to take it. And they, that's a champion right there. West Liberty. Flagler's got one of the best players in the country on their team, and Lincoln Memorial is, they got a D1 coach on their team. So it's going to be really tough for us to try to get through this, but we're really just focused on Damon right now. And like I said, I haven't watched all those championship games. I just haven't had the time, and I have been around the block. You're all right. And you kind of know what goes into this. And, after a regional, I know this is true for every coach, you're exhausted. You're mentally and physically exhausted. Your kids are exhausted. So you got to give them a little bit of time, and then you regroup and you get ready to go. But we're really focused in on Damon. We're looking a little bit at Lincoln and Colorado Mines. If we're lucky enough to win that first round, you got to be prepared, because it's 22 hours later and you're going after the next team. So you got to look down the road just a little bit, but you don't get that chance if you don't win the first one. And we had that last year, 2 years ago, Southern Indiana. We were the 2 seed, and I don't know how they played that cruel trick on us as Southern Indiana being the 7, but it's actually, that was one of the best games, because that's the environment you want. You got 8,000 people in there screaming and yelling, and now we would have liked to have won that game, but that's what the college experience is all about. And our guys remember that game. And I've been fortunate enough, and Coach Henderson, Coach Gove have been fortunate enough to win a couple national titles, and that's the ultimate. But some of those games, some of the regional final games, are so big because there's so many big crowds. And the crowd at Northern actually was pretty good size. Our crowd down at Lubbock Christian, even though it was limited to 25%, it was sold out, and that was a great crowd. And so our fans and the Lubbock fans saw a great game. And I know Lubbock wanted to win, obviously, but that was a great college game. It was a lot of fun. And same thing with the Northern and Northwest and all the other regional games. Those are tough places to go and play on the road. And I'm really proud of our guys for going on the road and being the number 1 seed, going on the road and winning the regional says a lot about our guys and others that have done that as well.
No doubt about it. Well, let's talk about Damon. They're really good. I mean, they're an 8 seed that could very easily be a 3, 4, 5, 6 seed. I mean, they've got a terrific backcourt, a couple real good bigs that can take care of their business inside. What have you had a chance to see on film? And we're going to be some of the keys to get through game 1 and make it into that semifinal.
Well, like you said, they've got one of the best bigs in the country. I think he's 2-time All-American. He's scoring about 27 a game and getting 13 rebounds. We don't have anybody that matches up with him. So we're going to have to do it by committee. And, Kevon Booker, who's just been starting for us lately, he's only a sophomore, so he'll kind of get his jump right into it. But then we've got John Brown, who's 6'11", and he's a good player. And he's someone that's getting back now because of being out with a little COVID, but he's going to be ready to go. And Hayden Blankley is right there, and Hugo Obaneki. So we're going to do it by committee, try to slow him down. But I think you really got to take away everybody else as well. And you got to close out on shooters because they've got some guys that can really shoot it. And I don't know names, but I know number 30 can really shoot the basketball. 5 is going to handle the ball for him. And then 2 and 4, I mean, you leave them open, the ball's going up and it's probably going in. And if it doesn't go in, they got the big guy rebounding. So we got to box him out. But they've got to stop us on the other end. And we want to really try to get that ball going up and down the court. They'll probably try to slow it down a little bit. And that's where we've got to be patient on defense and finish every defensive possession and then be a little bit choosy on offense. And I think if we can do that, we've got a good chance. But if we take quick shots, if we don't get back in transition, all the little things that coaches are going to say. But you're right. They're very talented. It's a bad matchup for us. I'll be very honest with you because there's not a lot of good big guys in the country, and they've got the best, and that's who they put us against. So I don't know who's on that committee. They get me every year, but you got to, no matter who you're playing, you're going to play somebody really good. And like I said earlier in the conversation, Damon could have been the 1 seed. We could have been the 8 seed.
Right.
It's that tight this year, but somebody's got to be the 1, somebody's got to be the 8. And so, it's when the ball goes up in the air, we don't have any advantage. They don't have any advantage. Let's go. It's 2 teams playing and we'll see who the best is come Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what a lot of coaches have said, that once the ball goes up in the air, take that number away from in front of the name. It's who's going to put the ball in the hoop, who's going to play defense and do all the right things. Coach,
exactly right.
It's always great to talk to you. I wish I could be down in Evansville with you guys, this week and see you in person again, but I wish you guys the best of luck, and we'll definitely be talking after all the games next week, but I wish you a great run and safe travels to Evansville.
You got it, Jim. We'll do it again next year. We'll try to make it 4 next year. We'll get you back down there.
Hey, you know what? I would absolutely welcome that, Coach. That would be a lot of fun. Thanks so much, Coach. Coach Tom Brown joins us, and Janelle Fugette from West Texas A&M. They're your number 1 seed. They'll be playing Wednesday night against Damon. You'll be able to watch all the action right here on NCAA.com. A lot of great stuff going on as we get ready to go to the Elite Eight in Evansville next week.